a very, very awesome, what's today? Wednesday, right? What's today? June 24th, 2026, okay? Where all my scamming. Okay, speaking of scamming, OMG, y'all. Have y'all heard? I'm trying to get my hair. Have y'all heard? Okay, well, come here. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Let me tell you. Apparently, allegedly, this is all alleged and in my opinion. Okay? But let me tell y'all. All right? So, allegedly, Young Miami has signed with this label that Diddy may be connected with because some of the people he's real close with are connected with the label. So it makes sense that Young Miami, the only talented chick out of Diddy's flock of women, the only one who could possibly bring in some big bucks, okay, maybe allegedly she may have a record deal that Diddy is included in somehow. Maybe he's making some money from that. I'm not quite sure. I'm going to continue to look into this and find out. Y'all already know I'm going to do my research and find out, right? But okay. So that's one thing. And it's crazy because I just saw that Young Miami, she was on Trick Daddy's show, Beware My Pots, right? On his podcast or cooking show. And Trick asked her when was the album coming out and what was the album name. She ain't had no information to give us. And I was like, with her having a very hot album that's out right now, it seemed like she would have a whole album, a record that's hot and out right now. It seemed like Young Miami would have a whole album. You mean to tell me all this time you worked on one single? Girl. Girl, la la. Girl, la la. Are you serious? So, Trick asked her when the album was coming out. She said this summer. Isn't this summertime already? I'm confused. She said she didn't want to tell this Young Miami I'm talking about. Young Miami said she didn't want to tell when the album was coming out. And she didn't want to tell the name of the album. Y'all, why I feel like it ain't no album. Why I feel like it's just that one hit. And if you think about it, now remember back when Young Miami was with JT, right? When they were together, and they came out with that last album. They kept telling folks it's the album coming, it's the album coming. Next thing you know, they were on tour for the album. And then the album came out. But they didn't tell when the album was coming out, so it just came out and they were on tour. But no one had tour dates in mind, so when they were doing interviews, it was like confusing because no one understood how you put an album out and then go on tour just like that versus leading up to the album coming out, being on tour, and then when you go on interviews, everybody know what's going on. Anyway, they messed around and they messed up. They effed around and messed up with that last album. And I feel like that was on purpose. Because remember, Young Miami was with Diddy. And JT Money was JT Money. And JT was with that funny looking dude. I don't know if they still together or what. But when they went on the Breakfast Club, if you remember, they didn't look like they were friendly with each other. They looked like things was a little shaky. And I said, I told people, I said, they about to split up. Before that even happened, I said, watch, they about to split up. Because Young Miami was messing with Diddy, and Diddy don't like nobody messing with his money or his property. Because if you're talented, what's up? What's up? If you're talented and you mess with Diddy or you're around him, he's going to snatch that talent from you or let you keep the talent and he take the money. Tell me I'm lying. Tell me I'm lying. What artist has Diddy been a part of, has Diddy produced, that has money to this day and that's still alive? Because a lot of his artists have passed away. And I'm going to even put Nipsey Hussle in that because Nipsey Hussle, his record was already done. And then he let Diddy boost him up, allegedly. This is my opinion. He let Diddy boost him up and told him, nah, I could tweak it. I could make it hotter. I could make it better. And then he put the album out and then he ended up passing away. And come to find out, Lauren London was possibly messing with Diddy and Nipsey Hussle because Lauren London and Cassie were best friends. Okay, whatever. I'm not going to get into that. We'll get into that later if y'all want to. But back on Young Miami, right? So allegedly, Young Miami only has that hot song. Now, to me, that's playing with fire when you only got one song that's hot. Because if it's just that one song that's hot, once you make the money off that, but if you're with a record label, how you gonna make your money from that? The record label is gonna make money. Speaking of the record label making money, let's get to my next thought here, or my next conversation. Okay, this is all alleged, all right? But allegedly, P. Diddy was trying to sell his house on Star Island, right? He had it all. It was in the process of being sold to someone, to a buyer, okay? The closing date just came where they were supposed to get all the documents and everything, the title to the house and everything together for that buyer so he could buy the house, okay? Y'all, why allegedly Diddy people didn't come with the title? How you gonna sell a house and you ain't got no title? So Diddy's representative is saying, allegedly, Diddy's representative is saying that the person who was in charge of getting the title and getting all the documents didn't get all the documents in time. So if you don't know how it works when you go through a closing of a house, right? When you go through a closing, because I know from experience, when you're dealing with the closing of a house, you have to put down your deposit. And either one or two things happen. Either that deposit goes directly to the seller, or it sits in this fund. And once the closing comes, then if you got your documents as the seller, then the buyer could get their documents and you get to cash in on that down payment. Now, I don't know how this case went, okay? That deposit that was put down on the house could have very well went into Diddy's bank account, allegedly. Anyway, what we know for sure is that closing just happened just recently, and Diddy's people did not have the documents. Well, my scamming, child. I think that's real. Is to me. Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Do y'all hear what I'm saying? Okay? Allegedly, it's looking like Diddy was trying to scam somebody out of some funds. Trying to sell a house he doesn't have a title to? How you do that? Why would you go through the process of selling a house and you ain't even got the documents? You ain't got the title. How you gonna sell the house and you ain't got the title? You don't own the house. You can't sell the house. That's the mortgage company house. That ain't your house. Where do people deposit at? Where they money at? Are y'all hearing what I'm saying? Sound like some scamming stuff going on to me. And it's crazy to me that Young Miami just it has the hottest song out right now talking about scamming. Because if that ain't a scam, I don't know what is. Okay? Because I went through a closing before. And I know once that closing time come, you're supposed to have your documents. And the buyer's supposed to have their money. And you transfer, everything gets transferred, and then you could close on the house. Then you get the keys, then you get the title, and that's the done deal. But if you ain't got the title to the house you're trying to sell, you don't have these people sitting and waiting to buy this house for however long, okay? Because it could take months because you have to go through the process. When I went through that process, I believe it took 45 days that I had to wait. And I was trying to rush it. So we don't know how long this process actually took. But if Diddy's people allegedly was able to get a hold of that deposit, to me, that means they needed that money. And they knew they couldn't produce no title to get the house. So you just holding these people up. You just scamming. Young Miami, boy, I tell you, girl, if you don't get away from Diddy, because I know she's still with Diddy because she came out with that song. Let me tell you, they didn't have songs like that, her and JT. Not scamming. Because scamming that's a bad rep right there. Like, you could trick and it sound better than scamming. Ain't nobody can trust you. You can't be trusted if you're a scammer. Young Miami better get away from Diddy. Okay? And I believe she's still messing with Diddy. I believe she's still messing with Diddy. Because if y'all remember, this past Valentine's Day, she was gifted a white what was it? Lamborghini or something. And she wasn't telling who it was from. And then she had a room full of roses. No man in sight. And I was like, oh, so Diddy's still making moves. Let me tell y'all. So allegedly, Diddy is still paying the rent for Daphne Joy, her home. During the trial, we found out that Diddy was still paying her rent, even though she was going up against him. She was testifying against Diddy. And he was still paying her rent, which was like $5,000. And on top of that, he was paying her lawyer fees. Diddy don't play by his women. So I know Young Miami's still with Diddy. And that's probably why she came out with that song. Because if y'all don't know, she has been on tour very heavy. Very heavy. But to me, it don't look like she making money. But I don't know. I don't know how that game works. It looks really low end, low budget. Don't get me wrong. She looks great. She looks awesome. But she's in all these clubs that I've never heard of. Okay, she started off doing the HBC reunion, going to all the colleges. And then that's how it circulated. That's how that song got out here and became a big hit because she hit up them colleges. Who else hit up those colleges in the beginning of their career? Diddy? Didn't he hit up that college and had that basketball tournament? And all those people passed away? Save yourself, Young Miami. Get up out of there. Because it reminds me of the Carisha Please podcast. doing 1 or 2 podcasts a year. It's all these celebrities, and I know she know a lot of celebrities, and she only interviewed like a handful of them. Why is that? Because Diddy is controlling it. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it. All I know is everything is lining up, and I already know what time it is. Young Miami, you better save yourself, girl. Save yourself. Get away from that demon, child. Get away from that demon. Come out with something other than that shot o'clock mess, because that's going to die down real heavy. Real quick. Real quick. Come up with something else. Do what Megan Thee Stallion doing. She's getting restaurants. She's investing in restaurants to make sure she has some money. Because think about it. What else is Carisha going to do? Carisha, please. Please. Get away from Diddy. Save yourself. Find something you can do and get away from him. Because he's not going to put no money in your pocket. And I'm willing to bet she ain't got $1. And she probably got a budget. But Diddy got a lot of lawsuits. And with this whole situation with this house, and closing time come, and they ain't even got the documents to close on the house, allegedly, that don't sound like somebody who got money to me. But y'all can say what y'all want to say, okay? I'm very grown, right? I've been around the block a time or two. I know a little something, something. I know a little bit about this, a little bit about that, okay? And I know something ain't right. Something is not right here. And Carisha, please get yourself together and get away from him. Yeah. I don't know what else to say. That's all I got for y'all. That's all I got for y'all. This weekend, I'm going to do a video about, speaking of scam, I'm going to do a video about Clive Davis. Because I really hate the fact that this man was able to go to his grave without being charged for the passing of one of these artists. Because just like Diddy, I feel like both of them are corrupt and should have both done some jail time. Like, Diddy jail time is laughable, okay? Allegedly, he's supposed to get out in, February 2028? Oh, and then y'all, okay, the Tupac case is coming up with Keefe D. Now, mind you, there's a second Tupac case that's coming up that Tupac's brother is putting out there. But the first one is Tupac case with Keefe D. That's in August, I think around the 12th or 13th, something like that, of August. That case is going to start. I can't wait. I'm going to be all over that, okay? I can't wait to see or find out the details about who murked Tupac and what had happened. Okay, if you don't know, Keefe D was interviewed, and he went on a lot of interviews talking about he was the one who took Tupac out, or he said his nephew did it, one or the other. But he said his group, his what you call that? His gang was told that Diddy allegedly would pay them $1 million if they took out Tupac. And so that's what they did. They took out Tupac, and they saying Diddy never paid out. And that's what Keefe D went on interviews saying that. I believe he even wrote a book saying that. And so that case is coming up. But now he has changed his statement, and he says he had nothing to do with the murking of Tupac. But they have a case that's coming, And this should be very interesting because a lot of people feel like Diddy had a lot to do with that. If you watch The Reckoning, that documentary that 50 Cent put out against P. Diddy, it was a lot of evidence in there, a lot of good information in there that would make you believe that Diddy did have something to do with taking out Tupac and Biggie. So, but anyway, like I said, Diddy has a lot of cases coming out, y'all. A lot of cases. It's in the double digits. Like, it's real. And it's about to get real, real. Even if he getting out in 2028. To me, honestly, the best thing for him to do would be to leave the country and pull a Russell Simmons. Speaking of Russell Simmons, y'all, the judge has told him he has to come back to the States to be a part of that case with the Drew lady who's suing him. And she's been staying on his neck, y'all. She had her foot on his neck. She has not let up at all. And I'm super proud of her, because let's put these predators in a spot. Okay, where they need to be. But the judge has told Russell Simmons he has to come back to America to handle this case, because he tried to get out of it and say that he lives in Bali and says that he's a citizen of Bali. But the judge said, nah, bruh, bring your butt back to the States so we can handle this case. So I'm very glad that, like I said, these predators are being put in their place. Yeah, but that's all I have for you guys. Y'all let me know how y'all feel about these scamming. Yeah, okay. Scamming. That's so weird to me that she would come out with a song talking about these scamming people. And her man is a part of the biggest scam. Okay? Boy, I tell you. I wonder who came up with the lyrics to that. It ain't many lyrics. It ain't many words, in the song. I don't know. Y'all tell me what y'all think about it, okay? I thought it was real interesting. I had to bring it to the media. Bring it to the crowd. If y'all not subscribed to my channel, make sure y'all subscribe to my YouTube channel, okay? Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to all my new subscribers. I seen it. I see the subscribers. Thank you so much. Okay, give me a thumbs up. I really appreciate it. And I'll be back with another video real soon. All right? Peace, you guys.